Yo, this your boy CEO Hockley. Real quick, man. Today's episode is being sponsored by OGHollywoodspeaks.com. Yes, that's right. OGHollywoodspeaks.com has this fly gear, man. Savage Drive, man. He has this very fly gear, man. He's a former prisoner that changed his life, did 25 years after receiving a life sentence, got home, and he been home 10 years, man. He's been out, he's been free 10 years. He has his own clothing line called Savage Drive. It represents the kind of drive you need to have to make it to the top, the kind of drive you need to have to stay free, right? And as we talk about this prison topic, I want to highlight and show and give respects to those that have been to prison and that are doing the right things in today's society. Everybody go to OGHollywoodspeaks.com and get that Savage Drive. If you got the drive it takes to be successful, man, support him. Also, you can follow him on YouTube. You can follow him on all social medias at OGHollywoodspeaks.com. We appreciate the support here at CEO Talk, and we also like to support other black people doing something positive, man. Savage Drive, that is the clothing line. Get yours today. Salute.
What's good? Back in the building, man. We back in the building, man. Y'all remember, hit that like button and that subscribe button because it's free. Savage Drive is what it takes for you to make it on this flatland. So you can get that at www.com, OG Hollywood Speaks, right? Today, man, we got another good one. And I'm going to name this one Fed Talk. Fed Talk. Why I'm going to name it Fed Talk? Because I can't explain it like the person that I'm bringing to the screen. He was here last week, told his story, gave some real jewels. But we knew one thing. We could not get all that in the time that we spent last week. So what do I do? Money is time and time is money. So I brought it back to drop some more jewels. Or should I say, give us some clarification on a situation that's going on in the social media world right now between two people, AKA 50 cents, Mr. Curtis Jackson, and the one and only Big Meech. Big Meech. Now, we all know Big Meech just got released from the feds, right? He did a substantial amount of time in the feds, right? And when he was released, things was going right for him. It was going right for him until he did one thing wrong in 50 Cent's eyes. He took one single photo with Mr. Rick Ross, the boss, as he called himself, Ricky Rose. He took a picture with Ricky Rose, and the internet exploded with 50 Cent calling him a snitch, or should I say a rat. That's what he said. And he said as soon as the dust settles, it will be a documentary coming out, right? But nevertheless, man, I'm bringing Texas Red in the building, man, and let him, give his take on the 50 Cent situation and explain what is the levels of the federal institution. That's why I'm bringing him here, because I can't explain it like he can. So y'all remember to do one thing, like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And for anybody that's got any questions about what's about to happen or the things that are about to be said, remember to leave your comment in the comment section. We don't care if it's good or bad. Just put it in the comment section. And if you're a 50 Cent fan, shout out to you. Or if you're a Big Meech fan, shout out to you. We just here to expound on the situation. And who other then Texas Red can explain what the federal levels are. Why? He's qualified to do that because he spent 20 years inside the federal prison. So I'm gonna call him an expert. You know how y'all they say they go and get experts? Well, I got an expert that can answer my questions about the levels of the federal prison. So let's tap in with Texas Red. What's good, Red?
What's up, Wood? What's happening, man?
Oh man. Say, uh, I got a couple of questions to ask you. And like I said, I feel like you are a federal expert when it comes to the federal levels of that penal code. Why? Because you did 20 years, right? Uh, First and foremost, man, I like to appreciate you for coming back to the Chronicle, man. I know you were here last week. You told your story, but I can't go nowhere else and get the truth. So
basically, you saying I'm on the stand right now, right?
I got to get the truth. I got to get the truth. I need some explaining of what the federal levels are in the federal prison, right?
Right.
You educated the people last week. Not only did you do that, you told your story, right? And it's only right I bring you back to let you do that again, right? So let me ask you a question. This is what I want to know. Have you even heard or saw what's been going on between Big Meech and Rick Ross and AKA 50 Cent's Curtis Jackson?
Yeah, Wood, man. I've been checking it out. You know, I've been flipping through, YouTube and I've been seeing some things, man. And I really been kind of disappointed because Meech, he's a Fed boy, and he come from my era. So in my era, it was all about paperwork. So I know Big Meech know about paperwork. And Fed boys from my era, they don't spit box with nobody. They don't fight. They don't stab. They don't try to shoot. They let that paperwork talk. So I've been sitting back waiting to see if Big Meech gonna post that paperwork, or if he gonna go on the platform and talk and show that paperwork. That's what I've been waiting on. But he been sitting back quiet. And with him sitting back quiet, real Fed boys don't sit back quiet when their manhood and their morals and principles is at stake. That ain't how they operate. Soon as they feel like their manhood being tested, they drop their paperwork. They have a paperwork party. They don't sit back and be quiet. So I've been kind of puzzled on why he's sitting back being quiet, because he know what to do. He know what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do that off the muscle, because that's what real Fed boys do. They drop it on the table.
So let me ask you this here. Now, it's a person that's involved in Big Meech's case, right? A female involved by the name of Tammy Cohen's, right? And her position is third party, right? Like I said, if I can explain it, I'll explain it, right? But the federal guidelines are different in how they work, right? And explain what her position is and what is her connection to Big Meech.
From my experience, when it's a third party person involved, the person is trying to hide behind another person. Therefore, their name won't never be on any documents, never be on any paperwork. and they still can be known as, let's just say, a real nigga. You know, you would never be in jeopardy because you got somebody in front of you that you hiding behind doing the dirty work for you. That's where the third party comes into play. And I've seen a lot of guys have people do that for them to get time knocked off for them, and they still run around the prison. You know, they still got their paperwork, they dropping it or whatever, but they got this third party stuff going on, getting time knocked off, and it won't never trace back to them.
So 50 Cent is threatening Big Meech to expose him as a rat. And if they can't confirm it or get the paperwork, how do they go by doing that?
Well, you know, by federal rules and regulations, you know, as an inmate, as a convict, you're really not supposed to put that label on them without the paperwork, because there's repercussions that come behind it. Let's just say he going around, he's saying Big Meech hot, Big Meech snitch, and he don't have the paperwork, and then somehow the paperwork come out and it proves that 50 Cent is wrong. And if 50 Cent put that label on him and 50 Cent wrong, Meech can have his way with him. Whatever he want to do with him, he can have his way with him, because 50 Cent is in violation for speaking on some stuff without having the paperwork. So, you know, really and truly in that penitentiary, you know, we do it sometimes, but we're really not supposed to speak on nobody without having the paperwork.
So the lady, Tammy Cohen, right? Could she expose Big Meech? How could she expose Big Meech?
She can expose Big Meech because she's doing the dirty work for him. She got all the information, she got everything she need to expose him. So if she wanted to expose him, and from what I've been seeing, she finna get ready to do an interview. So I think she finna get ready to expose him anyway.
Now let's talk Big Meech, Rick Ross. 50 feel like that Big Meech crossed him for associating with Ricky Rose, the boss, right? What's your take on that?
Okay, first of all, by the federal penitentiary rules, and I know Meech know this because he did a whole bunch of time in the feds. The number one rule in the feds is that you never take a picture with the police when you're a real nigga in the federal penitentiary. You won't never catch a person in the federal penitentiary. Paperwork is straight taking a picture with a supposed to be police. You'll never see it. I don't care how much money they got, what they got going on, you will never see it.
So do rats or hot boys associate with the police and the feds? How do that work?
Okay, they supposed to not mess with them. You know, back in my era, they didn't at all. But you know, they got the new stuff going on now, and boys is just doing all kind of stuff now. But you know, back in the gap, real niggas and police niggas didn't mess around. They didn't mix at all.
So in other words, you telling me 50 Cent's got every right in the world to be upset with Big Meech, right? That's what it sounds like coming from you. That 50 Cent's got a legitimate beef with Big Meech because 50 got beef with Rick Ross. Now, 50 Cent is highly upset. He said it wasn't no loyalty with Big Meech because he know Rick Ross supposed to be, like you said, a police. What's your take on that?
Well, once upon a time, it was a rumor out that 50 was the police. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how true that is because I never seen the paperwork or never heard nothing about the paperwork. But it was a rumor on 50. But we already know what Rick Ross is because it was documented that Rick Ross was a CO. So he's considered the police. And Big Meech, by federal law, is not supposed to be messing with him. By the rules and guidelines of the feds. You know what I'm saying? Back in my day, and back in Big Meech day, because he got locked up in the early 2000s. So he really fall up under the same rules that I came through up under.
Let's talk about federal. I'm gonna call it federal tiers, right? What are the federal tiers of the penitentiary? As far as the low, the high. Explain that.
You got your federal penitentiary, which is the pen, aka USP. You got your medium. You got medium high, and then you got medium, and you got low security, and you got the camp.
Now, walk me through those tiers one by one if you can, and explain the reason why a person will be placed in these certain positions. Why would certain people be placed in certain areas as far as the tiers?
Okay, USP status is supposed to be for the most violent. You may have they have a point system, so you might have high points, your violence or whatever. That could place you in a USP, and it also can place you in a medium. And they also go by the amount of time that you have. If you got a lot of time, you can be placed in these two places along with points and all kind of stuff. They got a system that they go by, and to be placed at a low, you have to have low points, or you can have no more than 20 years with low points or whatever, and you can be placed in a low. And if you got 10 years or less, and you don't have a record, or your record is not bad or whatever, you can be placed at a camp.
From your knowledge, a man like Big Meech, what do you think his status was during his time in a federal prison, and how he got where he was placed at? How did he get there? From your experience being in the feds, if you just had to guess where he was held at.
With him having a 30-year sentence and maybe having one conviction or maybe two or whatever, he could have been placed at the pen, at the AKA USP, or he could have been placed in a medium high or whatever because of the amount of time that he had when he came inside the prison. And after so many years, with a clean record, and with his time going down and his points going down, he can be placed at a low. But he probably never made it to the camp because he probably, the status he had, with him being kingpin status or whatever, you can't make it to the camp. As far as you can go down is low security.
So a person with his stature of kingpin status, like you said, it calls for him to be watched all the time. In other words, that's what you're telling me.
Yeah. He would be a security breach or whatever to go to camp because they feel like he has so much power. He might be able to just walk off, or somebody can just come and grab him and just he can escape.
Now, let's talk about the statuses of like the Aryan Brotherhood. Where would they be held at?
I mean, they could be anywhere, but most of the racism in the penitentiary comes from the higher levels. If you're in the USP or you're in the medium, a white guy would never be in a cell with a black guy or a Mexican. They just won't do it. And at the medium, same thing. They don't mix together like that. But once you go down to the low security, they will mix you in with a different race because they're trying to get you prepared for society. You know, racism is real low once you get to the lower levels and the camp levels or whatever. They will make you interact. And some people buck, you know, some people buck the system, but for the most part, they don't buck the system because they want to stay at this low security or at this camp because they're thinking about going home now. So they put up with things that they normally wouldn't put up with.
So the people that are placed, like you said, at that lower level of security, where they put up with certain things, right? Are they still a part of a car? What? As you get ready to exit out, and your points go to adding up or getting low, are you still part of a car? How did that work?
You'll always be still part of a car, but the activity, the violence, and all that is at a bare minimum, unless you really just have to. You know, they try to stay away from trouble when you go down, because when your points going down and your levels going down, most of the time it means you're getting closer to going home. So the closer you get to going home, the less trouble you want to get in to mess that up.
And the people that's over the car, they respect it. They don't, they don't expect you to carry on the same way as you was before you were placed in that particular level. How did that operate?
Some of them do, but for the most part, everybody is on chill. You know, even though he's the leader, he's on chill as well because the main goal is to go home. Everybody trying to go home. So he wouldn't be at the low level of the camp if he wasn't trying to go home his damn self. He still got the leader status, but at the same time, he want to go home too. So he's changing his mindset, his mind frame. He's letting a lot of things go by, a lot of things pass, and then we learn to start talking things out. You know, when you get close to time to go home, instead of just rumbling or whatever, now we learning how to talk things out. You know, we letting things go. We talking things out. We learning how to talk things out so we all can go home.
Now, speaking of going home, right? Is the torch ever passed amongst leaders? That's, because sometimes, when you're a part of something and a person might see he's on his way out and he passed the torch to the number two, and that number two become the number one. How did that work?
It happens every day. It happens every day because you have to pass the torch to keep it going. And sometimes the torch get passed to the right person and sometimes it don't.
Meaning sometimes it get passed to the right person and sometimes it don't. We gonna take it when it get passed to the wrong person. From your personal experience, what have you saw when the torch get passed to the wrong person?
They call that having a wreck. So if it get passed to the wrong person, he can make the whole car have a wreck.
Now, no, last time we had you here, right? I had some people respond and say, of course, they want to talk about the DC car, right? And your statement when you said well, the DC car was the most feared car in prison, right? And a lot of people want to know when you left, was the DC car still the most feared car in prison when you left?
When I left, they was one of the most feared still. And I guarantee you they're probably still one of the most feared right to this day. And I've been gone 5 years.
And okay, so let's go back to this for a minute. Big Meech, what car would he have been in when he was in the feds?
More than likely, he probably would have been in the Detroit car. More than likely. Because that's where he's originally from. So more than likely, or he could have been in the Atlanta car or Cali car, because you know he's been all around all them different places. So you can take your pick. Wherever you want to be, you can take your pick.
That is if you know all this is I call it opinion based, and the reason why I call it opinion based because I wasn't there
Right.
when he you know got in his situation. But what I do like to know about that is because certain situations operate different. By him being a kingpin, a well-known kingpin in the world, when he went to the federal prison, did that status go with him?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. They call that a guy like him. They would say he had a lot of niggas riding his dick. They'll call that that.
So he automatic came in prison as a shot caller.
I wouldn't say he would automatically be a shot caller, but he would have a lot of power, and maybe he was a shot caller. It ain't no guarantees that he was, but it's possible that he could have been one.
Now, like I said, when we first opened up, situations are going on with Big Meech and 50 Cent, and 50 is about to say he's about to expose Big Meech, right? Do you feel like the majority of guys that's been to the federal prison feel like you do as far as them going back and forward on the internet with each other when all they have to do is show the paperwork? Do you think it's other federal people feel like you do?
Of course. All the guys that he ran with in the penitentiary, they're probably saying why he just ain't dropping the paperwork. Because that's what we do. That's how we're wired. We're wired to drop the paperwork. We don't even have to talk. We let the paperwork talk for us. If anybody playing with my name, anybody playing with me, I'm going to get that paperwork. I ain't gonna spit box with you. I ain't gonna wrestle with you. I ain't gonna try to stab you. I ain't gonna try to shoot you. I ain't gonna try to fight you. I'm going to get that work and I'm slamming it on the table.
Now, internet. What you think about the internet? The internet is the new street corner. You only been out 5 years, right? And you see how the internet work, right? What they call now on the internet is internet gangsters. What's your take on that?
Man, it's crazy, man. When I seen it, man, it messed me up, man, and it really kind of shied me away from the internet, man. I tried to do the little YouTube thing, man, when I first got out, man, but when I seen all the gangster stuff on there, man, I bagged up from it, man. You know, because I didn't want to be on YouTube arguing with nobody or none of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get down like that, man. I don't argue. You know, so it kind of shied me away from social media, man. Because it's crazy. All that hollering and screaming and arguing and acting like you want to kill somebody. You don't even know these people.
Now, 50 Cent's successful, right? Have all of a sudden became an internet gangster, right? What you think about that?
Well, you know, they call dudes like 50 Cent, you know, I didn't know nothing about it until I got out and I kept hearing the word. So 50 Cent is considered as a troll. That's what they call guys like 50 Cent. They call him a troll. He's not really an internet gangster. He's a troll.
Now, do you actually think 50 Cent mean the things that he say towards Big Meech?
Yeah, I believe it with all my heart.
So, in other words, Big Meech ain't striking back with the paperwork, right?
Right.
So is that a red flag?
To me, what I would say, Big Meech, you looking like one of them. And you know what I'm talking about when I say one of them, because you've been where I come from. So you know who I'm talking about when I say you out here looking like one of them. You out here looking like a goofy. You out here looking like one of them.
In other words, man, 50 Cent could be right.
50 Cent could be right, man. And I'm gonna tell you like this, Wood, man, my skills got so cold up in there. I could see niggas like him a mile away. I got so good, man. I didn't even have to look at the paperwork. I could see where a nigga move, where a nigga act, where his eyes is, where he talk, where he walk. I could tell. I got so cold with it, I could tell I wouldn't even have to see the paperwork. And that's the look that Meech got right now. He got that look.
Look like he running scared.
He got that look, man. He got that look, man. He look like one of them, man. He don't look like Big Meech no more. He don't look like the Big Meech that we know.
And to the people that know him, right? They probably feel the same way, right?
I know they do. They can see it in his eyes. If we can see it, I know they can see it.
But it's a lot of people saying this, that 50 Cent don't have no right to be mad at Big Meech because he didn't even know Big Meech before Big Meech got locked up. So Big Meech don't owe him nothing. What you think about that?
No, he don't owe him nothing, but at the same time, he see what he see. If you see what you see, you know the saying y'all always say, y'all gonna call a ball, and a strike, a spade, and all that old type of shit. That's all he doing.
Like I said, man, it is what it is, man. That's why I brought you here, because I know you had a take on the situation. And like you said, boys that's been where you and Big Meech been don't believe in arguing. Just show the paperwork. Just show the paperwork.
That's all he got to do. That's all he got to do. And I believe by now, if it was real, if his paperwork was right, I think he would have been done put it on the table. Because we don't hesitate. We don't hesitate to put that paperwork on the table. No hesitation. As soon as somebody say something, we going to get it. No hesitation. We waiting on you to say something. I'm waiting on the nigga to say something to me so I can go get it. I still got my PSI. My PSI, 25 years old. It's yellow. It ain't white no more. It's yellow, but you still can read it. And if anybody say anything, wack100, all them boys talking about they want to check them out, I go get it.
wack100 he defended Big Meech though against 50.
Hey, I watch wack100. I fuck with wack100 because wack100 a real nigga because he gonna check a nigga. He gonna check and see if you right. So I mean I'm on that type of time too. So I like wack100. And I've been seeing wack100, he on the gas on that nigga. Yeah, he exposing it. You know, wack100 call himself the exposer. And he be on them boys' head, man.
Yeah, shout out wack100, man.
He be shout out wack100, man. He be on them boys' head, man.
So, man, like I said, that's why I said I'm gonna call this Fed 101 because you explained some things that I couldn't explain about the levels, right? And you gave it to me like I knew you was, that all Big Meech had to do is show the paperwork and 50 will go on.
It ain't too late. It ain't too late.
But the thing about that is this, man, is that you know, 50 see what he see. And the paperwork ain't showed up yet. And Ricky Rose, let's close it out with that. We're gonna close it out with Big Meech tied in with 50 cents. Oh, and by the way, Rick Ross said it will be another BMF movie, but even bigger. He gonna recreate the BMF movie even bigger. Now, if you look at it from that point, Rick Ross trying to pull a boss move, but my mind say is it's a play being ran. 50 started it, but Ross gonna try to extend it. And you know, people follow money. So is it possible that Big Meech is following the money? What you think?
Oh, of course he's following the money. You know, he just got out the penitentiary and his money ain't where it used to be. You know, when we get out the penitentiary, our goal for all of us to get out the penitentiary is to have more money than we had before we left. Because that's my goal. So I know it's his goal. So he gonna do whatever to try to have more money than he had before he left.
Even if it means not being loyal to 50 cents.
I mean, I don't think he feel like he have to be loyal to 50 Cent because 50 Cent is exposing him. And then, you know, those type of people that he's saying, that 50 is saying he is, they ain't loyal to nobody.
Real talk, man. But like I said, man, this is Fed Talk 101, man. Who else can I go get other than the man that's gonna drop jewels and explain the levels of Fed and what Fed boys do when they've been accused of being a rat. That's all I can say, man. So close it out on a federal note and what you think Big Meech in this situation should do if he being called a rat by 50 cents.
Big Meech, go get that paperwork. That'll shut everything up. That'll stop all the bull. Go get that paperwork, put it on the table, and expose the exposers. That's what real Fed boys do, man. They get that paperwork. You know what it is. You've been down there. I'm pretty sure when you was down there, you had to show your paperwork. So you used to showing your paperwork. I know you used to showing your paperwork because you came to the penitentiary in the 2000s. I know you looking at paperwork. You know what that paperwork means? Go get it. Or come out the closet, Nick.
Real live people, real live stories, man. This was Fed Talk 101. Who else better to live it than the man that spent 20 years in the federal penitentiary, man? Paperwork. Paperwork is the number one thing that anybody that did time in the federal prison will tell you. The paperwork is your driver's license. Paperwork. I remember hit that like button and that subscribe button, man. It's free. The like button and the subscribe button.
Yo, this your boy CEO Hockley. Real quick, man, today's episode is being sponsored by OGHollywoodspeaks.com. Yes, that's right. OGHollywoodspeaks.com has this fly gear, man. Savage Drive, man. He has this very fly gear, man. He's a former prisoner that changed his life, did 25 years after receiving a life sentence, got home, and he been home 10 years, man. He's been out, he's been free 10 years. He has his own clothing line called Savage Drive. It represents the kind of drive you need to have to make it to the top, the kind of drive you need to have to stay free, right? And as we talk about this prison topic, I want to highlight and show and give respects to those that have been to prison and that are doing the right things in today's society. Everybody go to OGHollywoodspeaks.com and get that Savage Drive. If you got the drive it takes to be successful, man, support him. Also, you can follow him on YouTube. You can follow him on all social medias at OGHollywoodspeaks.com. We appreciate the support here at CEO Talk, and we also like to support other black people doing something positive, man. Savage Drive, that is the clothing line. Get yours today. So